Greetings from my tub. I'm in here getting 5% cash back when I pay in full with PayPal. No fees, no interest. Make the most of your money this holiday with PayPal. Save the offer in the app.
Ends 12/31. See paypal.com/promo terms. Points can be redeemed for cash and more. Pay in for subject to terms and approval. PayPal link at NMLS 910457.
This episode is brought to you by Buffalo Trace Distillery. Powerful yet smooth. Contained but never tame. Proudly going their own way, but never going alone. This is the spirit inside Buffalo Trace Bourbon. Made at Buffalo Trace Distillery, the world's most award-winning distillery. Buffalo Trace is always perfectly untamed. Distilled, aged, and bottled by Buffalo Trace Distillery, Franklin County, Kentucky. 90 proof, 45% alcohol by volume. Learn more at buffalotracedistillery.com. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome back to Game Planning Tips. Each week we share ideas from coaches who are masters of preparation, giving you insight to sharpen your plan for the week ahead. Today's episode, presented by Lawrence First and Goal Foundation, features 3 coaches who bring clarity to their game planning process across all 3 phases. On offense, Mark Carney, the new head coach at Kent State, breaks down how shifts and motions help an offense control the game. On defense, Adam Fuller, safeties coach for the Los Angeles Chargers, shares how he teaches mindset and structure to dominate on third down. And on special teams, Jake Schoonover, now the special teams coordinator at Ole Miss, explains how to coach kickoff coverage through time, space, and courage. We start on offense with Mark Carney, who was recently transitioned from interim head coach and offensive coordinator to head coach at Kent State University. His approach to shifts and motions isn't about creativity for its own sake, it's about control. Shifts rebuild formations, motions change pictures, and both help the quarterback see what's really happening before the snap. Coach Carney explains how he organizes movement within his system, how each player has a motion family, how formations are built or broken by design, and why every movement must have intent. Here's Coach Carney on utilizing shifts and motions to benefit your offense.
We use a lot of both shifts and motions, and there's a lot of different reasons for it. So we define the difference in a shift and a motion. Okay, so a shift is defined as one or more players moving that will get reset, usually on the opposite side of the formation they started on, resulting in an entirely new formation or a formation change. Why do we do it? Well, one, probably most importantly, is it uncovers a little bit of defensive disguise. Anymore, these defensive guys do a really, really good job of showing you one picture and changing post-snap to a different coverage picture or pressure picture. I believe shifts do a lot to encourage the quarterback in being certain about what he sees. So he's able to see some communication, potential matchup issues, or matchup advantages. So that's probably the most important part of why we shift. Occasionally we do it because we know how the defense will align, right? We want to set a 3 technique. We want to set the passing strength. We want to set their defensive nickel. Another reason is may give us some coverage indications, right? If we start with a tight end as 1 and a receiver at 2, or a back as 1 and a receiver at 2, we may get some man zone coverage indications. It has tended to slow our tempo down. One thing, if you're a stat guy, is we've been top 10 in time of possession for the last 3 seasons, and our shifts and motions contribute a lot to that. We've been able to hide some formations in certain shifts that we utilize, and then we'll take advantage of our split rules and hiding splits from receivers. The difference in a shift and a motion is the shift players are going to get reset. On a motion, they're not. One player is moving prior to or at the snap of the football, where there's no reset or pre-snap formation change. Why have both? Well, both forces the defenses to stay ready. Are we going to snap it prior to the motion or shift crossing the ball, or are we not? We always want to keep the defense in a position where they've got to be ready, to play the play. Gives us some great coverage indications. While we're not moving from one side of the field to the other, we still may get some rock and roll with the safeties, right? We still may get some bump boxes, bumping backers in the box. It is a tempo changeup. It is not a longer drawn out deal. It creates surface changes, 2-man surface, 3-man surface deals, and it can confuse, or hopefully confuse, some of the defense's fit rules. So we utilize them both a ton. We'll get into how much and all that in a slide or two here, but our rules are important. So we have both pre and post formations motions or shifts. I think that's important to utilize both because it's important for us to be able to control matchups. We teach it in 2 ways. We say if the motion or the shift word occurs before the formation, for example, zoom to trio right, we would build that formation. We are building trio right. We are zooming to and building the formation trio right. We may also align in a formation and break it. So we may say a formation trio right and then zoom out of that formation. Again, matchup controls, the ability to build and break formations based on game plan is important. As far as how we motion, it's important for the motion man or shift man to understand the surface they are shifting to or motioning to. Are they going to a 2-man or a 3-man surface? Are they going to a nub surface? Are they going to a spot where they may be by themselves? The width and speed of that motion will be determined by the surface we are shifting towards. We utilize a bunch of different words and colors, dropping them in these learning buckets for our guys. Y words being tight end motions or shifts, Z words being receiver motions or shifts, R words being running back motions or shifts, F words being fast motions or fly motions, more motions, not shifts, and then S words being strictly shifts. We'll also use some colors as some shift words too. So lots of different ways to call these things, but we're going to utilize them a ton. So this season, we utilize shift or motion on 76% of our snaps. You can see some of my GAs and analytics folks working for us here at Charlotte put together this chart for me. So the big numbers over here are our total plays, 346 total pass plays, 349 total rush plays. We utilize motions on 263 of the 346 pass plays and on 264 of the 349 run plays. So about 67 or 75.8% of our snaps utilize motions there. You can see some of our success rates, what we needed to go, and some other information there.
Offenses use motion to create clarity for the quarterback. On defense, clarity comes from mindset, especially in critical moments. Our next guest, Adam Fuller, now with the LA Chargers after leading the Florida State defense, shares how his program built a system for third down success. Fuller's model begins before the call by teaching players to think in categories and communicate through a shared language. Each third down situation has a name, a mindset, and clear expectations. Sheriff for short yardage, marshal for medium, and deputy for long. This structure gives every player from the front to the secondary the same framework before the play ever begins. Here's Coach Fuller explaining how his third down teaching process gives defenders confidence and control.
This is I got this from, I was visiting or at a clinic as a young coach, and, it's always, you tell your guys you want them to watch more tape. And I think we all fall victim to that, but you got to be specific on what does that look like? And this is something we put up, we give to all incoming freshmen, or first-year students, and something we emphasize of just, if we're going to have you watch film, what does that look like? And so we give them kind of a detailed or broad description of what that looks like. So when they're watching their tape, for this clinic per se, it's going to be third down, but always know the situation, the down distance, what type of football is it, 2-minute, 4-minute, red zone, and then make a call, whatever the call is. But put yourself in a physical call and then mentally align yourself, communicate out loud, feel comfortable being within the film room of how you're going to go through the film, and then go through your identifiable keys, your matches, and then play with some anticipation as you watch it. Read your key and execute. And, this may be a simple exercise, but again, when players get in to watch film, I can remember as a player, and you just sit down, next thing you know, you're 30 minutes later, you've invested time, but really, what have you gotten done? So this is just in the way of trying to be efficient with our players, to get them, to watch film with a specific purpose. And this is just a handout that we're always going to use for our guys so that they can, again, maximize their time when they're watching their tape. Third down, all right, to get kind of into the guts of what this clinic is going to be. When we talk about third down here, we're going to break it up into categories. And so this is what I want you guys to not take from this, but sort of, this is how we organize third down calls. So I've got video right at the end of this. So third down, generally saying third down can be a lot of things, right? It could be a third down with fourth down ability to go for it. And then if it's not that, and the third down is going to play like a true third down where they're going to get it, or it's going to be a punt situation. So that's really the third downs we're talking about right now. So we're talking about third downs, whatever the distance is, but we're saying this is going to be a first down play attempt, or it's going to be a punt thereafter. So before we signal in our third downs, there's signaling process all the time. We're always going to signal in the third down mindset before each third down call, as you see that up here. So we're going to go the third down mindset first, right? And we put these into categories. Look at this word right here. So sheriff, right? Whatever that is, that's just how we organize. And I put 3rd and 5 or less. There's sometimes that could go up to 6. Sometimes it goes down to 4. But we signal in this mindset of sheriff, which gives our defensive line, our linebackers, our secondary, the entire group. This isn't the call that we're going to play, but this is the mindset they're going to play with. So we categorize these third downs within this concept. So we give a signal in, we tell them it's a sheriff type third down. So what does that mean? Well, organizationally, it usually means it's 3rd and 4, 5, 6 or less. And I'll go in a little bit more of where that cut point is. This goes into the mindset of our players. Get your eyes to our defensive line coach, all right? So that way we can independently signal in specific games, techniques. We have different ways to tell our guys to play run, to play pass, to transition from run to pass, whatever that mindset or game or technique. Obviously, it now alerts our guys, expect hard count. I can remember as a coach, you're always talking about hard counts, right? Well, we want to make sure they're aware of the situation that they will get that, and which falls into this sheriff category. Expect combination routes, shorter routes. Running back will be used in the pass game. It'll really define the type of protection you're going to get in these 3rd and 5 or less. D-line prepared to get your hands up in quick game. Underneath coverage, jump the underneath routes. Run game is still alive. Kind of a 4-minute mindset from a standpoint of the type of pass game and the direct runs that you'll get. Certain running back sets that in man-free coverage, we can use different tools so that we don't get picked, whatever those tools are. On the 3rd and 1s, quarterback sneak reactions, whatever that is. Possible defensive late stems, to get offense to jump. And then obviously be prepared for 4th down tries. So just the thought of this is for you guys that are on here is as we go on the 3rd down and we're going to give before we signal in the call, we're going to give the situation, right? And I got 3rd and 5 or less on this slide, but it could be 6, it could be 4. I'm looking for when we study an opponent, right? Where does the 3rd down pass game change to become more horizontal spacing? Where are the chains becoming? Where are the high-low routes disappearing? And where are more the spacing, the meshes, the picks, the rubs, the clusters, the running back individual throws, those type of things. Wherever that stuff starts to change to become the shorter combination routes is really where we be able to get those, the mindset for our guys. So
on special teams, clarity and structure show up in a different form through precision and coverage. Jake Schoonover, special teams coordinator at Ole Miss, teaches kickoff coverage as the first defensive play of the game. He breaks the play into 3 zones: speed, combat, and finish, helping players visualize the field, understand timing, and control space together. The result is not just faster play, but smarter coverage, with every player aware of how their lane, angle, and timing fit into the unit's success. Here's Coach Schoonover on teaching kickoff coverage through time and space.
Just get rolling here. The kickoff goals we talk about every game, every season. I'll buzz through this a little bit more. I know this isn't as important as to guys as material, but obviously no penalties. Starting on sides, keep the ball in bounds. Don't give them extra yards. We're going to try to keep average opponent starting field position to 25. Obviously, we're touchbacks at 25-yard line, so we want to say a touchback or better. That is a lofty goal this year. We were able to hit that. We got them in the 24 range, so felt pretty good about that. Kickoff defense average 18 yards or less. Again, we were around 11 this year, so we felt good about what we did there. And then just as you kind of talk about what you need, violent mentality. Obviously, it's the first play of defense. We're trying to get the defense on the field, take the field hot, trying to get them coming out the field with intent and with a little energy. So it starts with that first rep of kickoff. Obviously, you got full speed. We talk about courage and accountability all the time. We want guys that obviously you have to have courage, run down the field, and not know what's going to happen a lot of times, and then you have to be accountable to do your job. As we get into it, our kickoff is designed as relationship lanes based, not necessarily landmark lanes. So you have to be accountable to do your job because it all works together. Everybody's got to be in tune together. Personnel, we're looking for fast, physical, and smart, just like every other thing. We want to teach them, we want to give them block defeat rules and teach them when and where to apply them. That's our biggest thing. The guys have to understand that. And then we're always trying to take the football away. Have that mentality. We got to practice that. We're going to try to put that into everything we do. You absolutely need an effective kicker. Hang time, kick placement are critical. For us to be able to be an effective kickoff unit. We've had years we've had great kickers, had years where we had average kickers, and you can make it work as long as you get some hang time and placement. Kickoff time has to stay the same for the coverage as far as the approach goes. We don't want to give anything away with how we're lining up with the kicker or what we're doing. And then, our coverage, and it's obviously based on scheme, but we want to try to be all the guys that are hot. We want them to be a 30-yard line or in when the ball is caught. And we're still working through that here at Kansas, obviously, but with getting the personnel that can do that. And obviously that goes a lot into the hang time as well. We want to try to get a 3.85 plus hang time. Obviously, if you can get to 4, that'd be great. That flying 40, which again, I'll break the field zones up here in a minute. But you want to be able to really be about the 30-yard line when the ball's caught, and that can really constrict the field. All right. Okay. Most important thing I talk about with kids, all 4 of our big 4 special teams units, but especially kickoff, are these field zones. The biggest difference between offense, defense, and special teams, particular special teams, is time and space. And so every team has that kid that's not as athletic, but for some reason a good special teams player. Well, the kids that can understand time and space, how much time they have, how much space they have to work with, and how to constrict that space for the opponent, the kids that can understand that are going to have a leg up in the special teams game. So for us to help them constantly put a clock in their head and constantly talk about that time and space and how to manipulate it and how to dictate it, we break the field into 3 zones. You have your speed zone, your combat zone, and your finish zone. All right. Speed zone is that takeoff area. We talk about flying 40, it's really 35 yards, but that flying 40 area where we want to get to the 30-yard line. And they got to fly through that. Okay. So we are giving them a toolbox to operate within the speed zone. And you have your combat zone. It's really 30 to 20, but in reality, it's relation to how deep the ball is kicked. But that's the zone where, you can't avoid anymore like you might the speed zone. You have to take problems, take conflicts head on, and you have to be physical and firm in that combat zone. And then of course the finish zone is where we make plays, make tackles. But when we break the field down to these 3 zones, then it allows us to put practice drills that are accordingly, you put those in that setting of that zone for our players to understand what they're doing, and they're not just, running a full kickoff every time and trying to figure it out. So, and these, I'm not talking any other special teams unit today, but these zones vary depending on the unit. Obviously, kick return would be the same. Punt and punt return, the speed zone, the combat zone would switch. That combat happens at the line of scrimmage. And then obviously you're getting into speed and transition after that. So, but this is a big thing for us to talk about with our guys, again, to help them manage time and space, and put that clock in their heads of what they need to do.
3 coaches, 3 different perspectives, all focused on the same thing, creating clarity that turns preparation into performance. From shifts in motions that reveal the defense, to third down systems that define expectation, to kickoff units that understand timing and space. Great coaching is about teaching players how to think before they move. This episode of Game Planning Tips was presented by Lawrence First and Goal Foundation, supporting pediatric brain tumor research and families affected by cancer through football. To learn more, donate, or register for this year's coaching clinic series, visit lawrencefirstandgoal.org. Thanks for listening, and good luck as you build your game plan for the week ahead. We're proud to partner with the best companies that serve coaches. For your in-game analytics, go to modernfootball.com. When you win it all this year, Signature Championship Rings provides you a great design within your budget. Use Story of the Season for a modern version of the media guide and a way to raise $20,000 to $40,000 for your program. Go to storyoftheseason.com. Sideline communication is critical. Our partner, the Headset app, has figured out how to do that at a fraction of the cost. Check out what they do at theheadsetapp.com. Go Route offers you a way to call plays in games now if you're in Texas. And Gridiron Scout is the premier way to get plays into practice and eliminate scout cards. Check it out at goroute.com. And finally, Titan Sensors gives you the analytics you need for your players on player development and understanding their physical needs. Check out all of our sponsors and our content at coachandcoordinator.com.